Hello, everyone. This is Chris Zorich for another installment of my 5 questions, 5 answers in 5 minutes. So our first question was from Brent N. What was the biggest adjustment you had when you got to the Notre Dame campus from Chicago? Well, kind of an interesting thing. The first one was just how beautiful the campus was. For those of you who have been to the University of Notre Dame's campus, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous campus. But where I came from was kind of like a rough neighborhood and stuff. And so it's really interesting, kind of the idea of this utopia is what I called it. So imagine being thrown into just this beautiful, beautiful scenery when you kind of grew up for 18 years of your life in kind of a rough area with like broke down cars and abandoned houses and gangs and drugs and stuff like that. It was really, really crazy. So it was a huge adjustment for me. But the funniest adjustment was on the football field because my high school football coach, John Pataki, treated football like war, kind of like. And so his philosophy was you always have to have your helmet on in case you need to go into battle. And so here I am on the sideline in practice, hot summer days during August, during double sessions, everything, with my helmet on, standing up. Finally, the coaches had to come over and say, Chris, you can take a knee, you take your helmet off. And I was like, what do you mean? Take my helmet off? I don't understand what you're talking about. I got to go to war. So it was a really big adjustment for me on the football field and also on campus. The next question is from Brian P. What was your favorite thing to do on game day for the Bears and also for when I played at the University of Notre Dame? Well, Notre Dame, the most impressive thing that I experienced when I was there on game day was actually our team mass, because it was the whole team together. There weren't a lot of extra people. It was just the team and coaches, the players and the coaches. And we had a mass, even though I'm not Catholic. It was just a great experience because it was like this bonding thing before we went into kind of like, not a war situation, but kind of like this huge battle. So, it's kind of one of those things where you battled, right before you battled, everybody got together and kind of said a prayer. And it could have been anything like, just bless us this day or whatever. And I never prayed that we were going to beat the opponent. I just wanted everybody to be safe. But it was so interesting because it was that unity that we had together in a time where, it was about to be a crazy experience. So by far, that was the best time before a game. And then for the Bears, it was just having our team breakfast right before the game. Everybody was really silent. You kind of just went out and kind of did your thing. You maybe sat with a friend or whatever. But it was being alone right before that battle. Next question is from Mark O. What was your favorite game you played at Notre Dame and the Bears? Now, I had a question like this before, and my favorite game I played in was against Miami. And that's because it was big on big. It was great, great opponents, great athletes. But then I started to think about it. And I was thinking about kind of from an individual standpoint. And I'd have to say the first game that I played in when I was at the University of Notre Dame, which was in 1988, the same year we played Miami, but it was against Michigan. It was a home game. It was the first time they had lights at the University of Notre Dame. And it was the first game I had ever played at Notre Dame. And so I went from a crowd of maybe 100 people at my high school games to a crowd of like 60,000, plus the millions that were watching on TV. And it was just a surreal experience. I went out on the field and people were yelling, they were shouting, there was all this noise. The band was playing, the student section was going crazy. It was a crazy, crazy experience. And one that I'll never forget because it was my first game at Notre Dame. And then favorite game I played for the Bears, it was in 1992. I'd been riding the bench because I was playing behind William Perry, who was a great player. And Mike Ditka, who was the coach at the time, finally put me in. And we were playing against Dallas. It was the last game of the year. And I actually had like a sack. I think I had a sack and a half, had like crazy amount of tackles, like 9, 10 tackles. But then I caused a fumble and I scored a touchdown. I recovered the fumble, ran in for a touchdown. So it was awesome. So that was like my best personal game that I ever played in when I was with the Bears. Next question. Trina D. Who is the best quarterback at Notre Dame? This is a tough one. We had so many great quarterbacks throughout the history, but it's kind of crazy because I played with some good quarterbacks: Tony Rice, Rick Meyer, a whole bunch of other guys. But I think personally, if you want to look at quarterbacks and you want to look at championships, I'm one of the people that say in order to be the best, you have to kind of do the best you can while you're playing. And so I equate that to championships. Like, I think Tom Brady will be the best quarterback to ever play the game because he's won so many Super Bowls. So for college, it's national championships. And I would have to say Johnny Lujack, because he won 3 national championships. And in between the first and the second one, he actually went into the service. He went to the Navy for a couple of years and came back and won 2 national championships. So by far, my choice should be Johnny Lujack just because he's a crazy, crazy quarterback. And just thinking, okay, you win one your first year, and I think he replaced, I forgot who he replaced, but he wound up having to go to war for a couple of years and then come back and play and win 2 national championships. And he won a Heisman Trophy as well. So my last question is from Sean C. What am I doing to stay busy during in Illinois, it's a stay-at-home order. So I'm reading a lot, working out a lot. I think I've gained about 10 pounds of muscle because I'm working out so much. Also doing a little bit of housework around the house. I'm not that handy, but I try to do what I can. But it's interesting because one of the books I just finished was The Irishman. It was a movie on Netflix that Martin Scorsese did with everybody. Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, a whole bunch of folks. But it was interesting because I saw the movie after I read the book, and anybody who's read a book that's been turned into a movie would totally understand. The book is a lot better. But the book gave a totally different impression on what the actual movie was about and the life of the guy that the book was based on. So my time is a little up. I went over a little bit, but thank you again for tuning into our installment of 5 questions for 5 minutes. Last thing I want to say is everybody please stay home. Let's conquer this COVID-19. Take care.